Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So thankfully for all of us, we get to gather and make the best use of whatever bargain we have, good, bad, or otherwise. We get to come together and make the best use of this incredible birth that we have and speak about the glories of Indira Ekadashi. Yudhishthira Maharaj said, O Madhusudan, O killer of the Madhu demon, what is the name of the Ekadashi that occurs during the dark fortnight Krishna Paksh of the month Ashwin, September-October? Please describe its glories to me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, then replied, This holy day is called Indira Ekadashi. If a person fasts on this day, all his sins are eradicated, and his forefathers who have fallen into hell are liberated. O best of kings, one who simply hears about this sacred Ekadashi achieves the great merit earned by performing a horse sacrifice. In the Satya Yuga, there lived a great king named Indrasena, who was so powerful that he destroyed all his enemies. His kingdom was called Mahishmatipuri. The glorious and highly religious King Indrasena took good care of his subjects, and therefore he was rich in gold, grains, sons, and grandsons. He was greatly devoted to Lord Sri Vishnu as well. He especially enjoyed chanting my name, calling out Govinda, Govinda. In this way, King Indrasena systematically dedicated himself to pure spiritual life and spent much time meditating on the absolute truth. One day, as King Indrasena happily and peacefully presided over his assembly, the perfect orator, Sri Narada Muni, was seen descending, white as a conch, shining like the moon, like a jasmine flower, like a lightning bolt. Narada Muni descended from the sky. He was decorated with matted locks of reddish hair. The king offered Devarishi Narad, the saint among the Devas, demigods, great respect by greeting him with joined palms, inviting him into the palace, offering him a comfortable seat, washing his feet, and speaking sweet words of welcome. Then Narada Muni said to Maharaj Indrasena, O king, are the 7 limbs of your kingdom prospering? The 7 limbs of a king's domain being the king's well-being himself, his ministers, his treasury, his military forces, his allies, the brahmanas, the sacrifices performed in his kingdom, and the needs of the king's subjects. Is your mind absorbed in thinking of how you can properly perform your occupational duty? Are you becoming more and more devoted and dedicated to the service of the Supreme Lord Sri Vishnu? The king replied, By your kind grace, O greatest of sages, everything is quite well. Today, just by your presence, all of the sacrifices in my kingdom are successful. Please show me mercy and explain the reason for your kind visit here. Sri Narada, the sage among the Devas, then said, O lion among kings, listen to my astonishing words. When I descended from Brahmaloka to Yamaloka, Lord Yamaraj praised me very graciously and offered me an excellent seat. As I glorified his truthfulness and wonderful service to the Supreme Lord, I noticed your father in Yamaraj's assembly. Though he had been very religious, because he broke an Ekadashi fast prematurely, he had to go to Yamaloka. Your father gave me a message for you. He said, In Mahishmati lives a king named Indrasena. Please tell him about my situation here, that because of my past sinful deeds, I have somehow been forced to reside in Yamaraj's kingdom. Please give him this message from me. O son, Kindly observe the coming Indira Ekadashi and give much in charity so I can go upwards to heaven. Philosophically, we can understand that every living entity is an individual, and individually, everyone has to practice Krishna consciousness to traverse back to home, back to Godhead. As stated in Garuda Purana, someone who is suffering in hell cannot practice Krishna consciousness because this requires some mental peace, which the reactionary tortures of hell make impossible. If a relative of a sinner suffering in hell gives some charity in the name of the sinner, he can leave hell and enter the heavenly planets. But if the sinner's relative observes this Ekadashi fast for his suffering kinsman, the kinsman goes directly to the spiritual world, as stated in this narration, based on Brahma-vaivarta Purana. Narada continued, "Just to deliver this message, O king, have I come to you. You should help your father by observing the fast of Indira Ekadashi. By the merit you gain, your father will go to heaven." King Indrasena asked, "O great Narad-ji, please be merciful and tell me specifically how to observe a fast on Indira Ekadashi, and also tell me during what month and on what day it occurs." Narada Muni replied, "O king, please listen as I describe to you the full process of observing the Indira Ekadashi. 1. This Ekadashi occurs during the dark fortnight of the month of Ashwin. 2. On the Dashami Tithi, the day before Ekadashi, rise early in the morning, take bath, and then do some service for God with full faith. 3. At noon, bathe again in running water, and then offer oblations to your forefathers with faith and devotion. 4. Be sure not to eat more than once on this day, and at night sleep on the floor. 5. When you awaken on Ekadashi morning, cleanse your mouth and teeth thoroughly, and then with deep devotion for the Lord, take this sacred vow. Today I shall fast completely and give up all kinds of sense enjoyment. O lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead, O infallible one, please give me shelter at your lotus feet. 6. At noon, stand before the sacred form of the Sri Shalagram Shila and worship him faithfully, following all the rules and regulations. Then offer oblations of ghee into the sacred fire and tarpan, directed to help your forefathers. 7. Next, feed qualified brahmanas, obviously non-grain prasadam, and then offer them some charity according to your means. 8. Now take the food pindas you offered to your forefathers, smell it, and then offer it to a cow. Next, worship Lord Rishikesh with incense and flowers, and finally, remain awake all night near the deity of Lord Sri Keshava. 9. Early in the morning of the next day, Dwadashi Tithi, worship Sri Hari with great devotion, and invite Brahmin devotees to a sumptuous feast. 10. Then feed your relatives, and finally, take your meal in silence. O king, if you strictly observe a fast on Indira Ekadashi in this way, with controlled senses, your father will surely be elevated to the abode of Lord Vishnu. After saying this, Devarishi Nadad immediately disappeared from the scene to bless someone else with his presence. King Indrasena followed the great saint's instructions perfectly, observing the fast in the association of his relatives and servants. As he broke his fast on the Dwadashi Tithi, flowers fell from the sky. The merit that Indrasena Maharaj earned by observing this fast released his father from the kingdom of Yamaraj and caused him to attain a completely spiritual body. Indeed, Indrasena saw him rising to the abode of Lord Hari on the back of Garuda. Indrasena himself was able to rule his kingdom without any obstacles, and in time, when he handed over the kingdom to his son, he also went to the spiritual realm of Vaikuntha. O Yudhishthir, these are the glories of the Indira Ekadashi, which occurs during the dark fortnight of the month of Ashwin. Whoever hears or reads this narration certainly enjoys life in this world, is freed of all reactions to his past sins, and at the time of death returns home back to Godhead, where he lives eternally. Thus ends the narration of the glories of Ashwin Krishna Ekadashi, or Indira Ekadashi, taken from the Brahma-vaivarta Purana. what is amazing is that even just by hearing the glories of this Ekadashi, one somehow or other makes his life perfect, enjoys life now, and then is returned to the spiritual abode right after this life. We heard some really wonderful processes for observing this Ekadashi, but what happens if you only heard about it today and then were not able to only eat once the day before Ekadashi and then sleep on the floor? And then what if you are not able to perform some sort of fire yajna on Ekadashi for your forefathers? Like what to do if you cannot perform all of these functions perfectly? And wonderfully, we have Srila Prabhupada, who has taken it upon himself to make all kinds of provisions for us, who has somehow or other given us all facility to do that which we think we cannot do. And in order to have all facility to do all those things that we think we cannot do, we have the chanting of the holy name, which within Srimad Bhagavatam it says, "Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of dog-eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices, and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required." So on the strength of the chanting of the holy name, if we have no facility to do anything else, then our day is perfect. If we can somehow undertake some austerity to fast for the pleasure of our supreme person, and then we can just increase our chanting, which Srila Prabhupada encouraged. If we can do nothing else, that is actually the most best, all that we need. Within the Adi Purana, it is stated, "There is no knowledge, religious vows, meditation, or any other attainment that is equal to or superior to the holy name. Neither renunciation, control of the mind, any meritorious deed, nor the highest aspiration is equal to or higher than the holy name. It is the name alone that is the highest form of mukti. The name alone is the ultimate end in life. Resort to the holy name alone is the highest type of devotion. Resort to the holy name alone is the ultimate end of knowledge. Attachment to the holy name is the highest love. Recollection of the holy name alone is true remembrance. The holy name alone is the root cause of all beings. The holy name alone is the highest object of worship. Resort to the holy name alone yields the highest peace. Resort to the holy name alone is the abiding welfare. The holy name is the supreme object of worship, and the holy name is the supreme guru." So the holy name is our absolute shelter. It is our Lord and Master, the supreme object of worship. There is no knowledge, no religious vow, no meditation, or any other attainment that is equal to or superior to the holy name. So we can chant the holy name, and we can figure out how to leave all of the particulars up to Krishna. Sometimes we are burdened down with so many details, and we think, how do I somehow manage all of these details? Sometimes we don't. We do our best. We increase our chanting, and somehow, through the increase of our chanting with some faith, with some affection, if we can do that, it starts to bring all of everything else that is required. Somehow or other, our chanting of the holy name, our faith in the holy name, will bring even the desire to participate in fasts like Ekadashi, the desire to increase our devotional service, the desire to perform some austerity for Krishna. So we have a question, which is, what time does the fast end tomorrow? And according to GCal, breakfast is between 6:50 a.m. and 7:19 a.m. So that's not a lot of time, but um, I do encourage all of us to be hopeful and to feel invigorated to somehow or other. And it's the weather is really conducive for us hunkering down and increasing our chanting of the holy name, especially if you happen to be in any of the southern states that are really being hit by this weather. We get to really wind down and increase our chanting of the holy name. And somehow or other, material nature has made a situation where there's nothing else to do. And so the best thing that we can do on this Ekadashi is just to immerse ourselves somehow in the chanting and hearing of the glories and pastimes and qualities of our dearmost friend who is carrying everything that we lack and preserving everything that we have. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ekadashi Devi ki jai. I had been recently listening to many lectures of Srila Prabhupada, going through the lectures that he was giving on the nectar of devotion. And as always, I'm incredibly struck with how concise these lectures are. Srila Prabhupada says what he has to say, doesn't waste time on anything extra, and then says thank you very much and moves it along. Because there's so much to be done. There's so much service to be done, so much to be excavated. And he was always engaged in being busy from early in the morning, 3:30 a.m. before Mangalarti. I was reading remembrances of so many Prabhupada disciples who would say that he would start seeing devotees and speaking with them as early as 3:30 in the morning. Vaishnav Seva, as early as 3:30 in the morning. And I thought to myself, anytime that I am up at 3:30 in the morning, I am available for God only. I am not available for the public. But Srila Prabhupada was not like that. He was serving Vaishnavas who didn't know that they were Vaishnavas. But somehow Srila Prabhupada knew that they were Vaishnavas. And he made himself available for that service. And I was just reflecting on how incredibly thankful and grateful I am to Srila Prabhupada for somehow seeing within all of us something that I never would have seen myself. Ever would have seen myself. And I think about it even now, because there are several times where I am up and thinking, I could lead an online guided japa. I'm gearing up for it. I'm also gearing up for the responsibility of being available for so many hours of the day. If anyone has not ever facilitated devotees for many days, try it. It is undoubtedly a service. And facilitating and mentoring and being there for other devotees is something that I have considered a service to do. And really, it makes you value that time where it's just you and Krishna. You really start taking that time incredibly seriously, because that is the time where you have to try and fill up your own cup, because we can't give what we don't have. And so those times when we do fill up our own cup become extremely important. Those times of self-preservation and self-care, really taking those 25 to 30 minutes to listen to Srila Prabhupada and gain some encouragement from our grandfather, it becomes invaluable, because those are the things that carry you through all the rest of our day, future days. This becomes the foundation and the fortress of our bhakti that fortifies us and somehow or other gives us the strength to carry on regardless and in spite of, despite anything and everything else that comes up, because anything and everything will absolutely come up. But as I said, I was always so struck with how concise, eloquent, poignant Srila Prabhupada's discourses were. He would emphatically, straight to the point, say whatever needed to be said. And then that was it. Jai William Prabhu, please tell me something.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for a wonderful class. Just wanted to reflect that it's been about a year now that I've been increasing my japa, and I've noticed the benefits, and I wasn't even, no, I can't lie. I was looking toward the benefits. I was saying, Krishna, hey Krishna. And I talked to him as a real person, Listen, if I do this, can you do me a favor? Can you help me with my mental health thing that's going on? Because it's really bothering me. So I'm like, medication doesn't work. And you and Radha know that medication doesn't work. So I'm trying to raise my family in Krishna consciousness. It's like, so I'm talking to him as a real person, And so then I hear Radha say, well, you're doing your best. You're doing your best. You're a father and you're doing the job of a mother. And all I can say is just try, just keep trying your best. And we're here to support you. So I'm like, oh my God, you guys are amazing. Okay. So I go to the river. I have the East River right near me to do japa. I'm like, oh Krishna, thank you. I have a river near me. I didn't realize I could do japa by the river. So I do my japa by the river at 3 a.m. in the morning. 3 a.m. So sometimes 4, 3 a.m. But I wake up at 3, almost all the time at 3. And it's like, wow, why is so much energy? I'm like, oh Krishna, thank you. Thank you for getting me up. Okay, so I gotta do something. Anyway, I don't want to talk too long. All I want to say is I am blessed by Krishna's grace to live by the East River, to do my japa, and I invite other devotees to join me at around between 3 and 4 to begin chanting the holy names. It's such a wonderful experience to feel the blessings of Sri Krishna and Radha. Hare Krishna.
Jai. See, William has made himself available for the devotees at 3 a.m. Please be careful as you get to the East River at 3 a.m. But William has made himself available, and that I appreciate. And what I also appreciate is the reciprocation from Shri Radha Govinda when we simply try our best. We can also often feel as though, is that really good enough? Is that really going to make a difference? And that is the only thing that will make a difference. The only thing that we can do is try our best. And Krishna promises, if you just try your best, there is no loss, no diminution, no failure. Just try your absolute best. And each day that might look a little differently. And it's important that we are able to give ourselves grace when that looks differently. And we're able to rise to the occasion when that looks differently. But I commend you for grabbing hold of the opportunity. As long as this body is waking you up at 3 a.m. with all of this energy, I commend you and congratulate you for grabbing a hold of that golden opportunity, because it is absolutely a golden opportunity. And it's as we come here to make the best use of whatever bargain that we've got. If we are in a situation where we cannot sleep, then somehow or other you have done the devotional thing and have made it a perfect situation, because then that means you get to chant the holy name. That means we get to spend more time with Krishna.
Haribol.
If we are suffering from whatever it is, this is actually the greatest benefit, because Krishna has given us a way to remember that this life is meant for reconnecting.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
you hear me okay? No? Hello?
It's good.
You're good now.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, so we appreciate always, your sparkling presentation is so perfectly clear. And you were mentioning how you've been reading, listening to Srila Prabhupada's, the way he presents Krishna consciousness. And what struck me with the reading from the Ekadasi narrative today, and from what you said about what Srila Prabhupada said, and what I was hearing yesterday, that Krishna consciousness is so accessible by different people in different ways. And the example that I heard yesterday from Srila Prabhupada, he said, so we have this brahmachari ashram, and we have this grihastha ashram. You can select what ashram you feel Krishna nudging you towards what you feel comfortable with, and then strictly follow the principles of that ashram. It's like Prabhupada says, if you want, we may be in whatever position in devotional service, but if we want to go forward, then follow these principles. Avoid intoxication, illicit sex, meat eating, gambling. If we want to go forward, if you want to be in this ashram, follow the principles of that ashram. That's one way to participate. If you want to be in the other ashram, so the principles of the householder are being faithful to their husband or wife, um, restricting indulgence and sexuality to the procreation of children, giving in charity, receiving guests. There are different sacrifices that are recommended for each ashram. The brahmacharis are recommended to study and to assist the spiritual master. And then there's guidelines. If you're going to choose this ashram, then this is the way you relate to these other ashrams. Serve the sannyasi. Hear from the person speaking shastra. There's give donations, right? So there are different things that are recommended, but we can choose which one of these ashram styles, and then Prabhupada said, and then if you choose this ashram, then follow the principles of that ashram, and you'll make advancement. It may not be the same for different people in different strata. They were talking yesterday about shaving head. They brought it up, and I said, well, and then they asked me, what do you remember? Well, Prabhupada said, oh, you're keeping hairs. If you want to meet my disciple, please be clean shaven at least once every 2 weeks. So that if you want to be my disciple, if you want to go forward in spiritual life, if you want to be a householder, if you do this, that's what I was just reserving. A lot of those connections. If you do this, then do that. And so it makes Krishna consciousness accessible and variegated. And if you're not ready to be a disciple, then do what you can under your, like you said so many times very nicely, do your best. Do your best, and Krishna will be pleased, because that's the real criteria. Not everybody can do all these things that were recommended, or horse sacrifice and feed a cow, and how in the world could we do all this? But then Prabhupada said, though, he made it accessible. So please avoid beans and grains. So Krishna consciousness is accessible. I don't know, that's kind of a long contribution, but I just prayed to Srila Prabhupada what to say. And I request Srila Prabhupada's guidance in what to say. I certainly hope I'm following what he's indicating I should say. Somebody said yesterday, you shouldn't say that because then you think you're guru, you think you're... No, we're just trying to, we are actually desiring to repeat guru with no distortion and no inappropriate sort of, and we're trying, and we're praying for that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with praying for that and trying, as far as I know. Okay, I'll go to Prabhupada, sorry to talk so long.
Jai, all glory to Shri Prabhupada. I was at the Holy Name retreat with Sachinandan Maharaj, and he said that he gave a quote that said that commitment is what turns our ideas and promises into reality. And so that commitment, the discipline that we then adopt, is what turns our ideas, our pleasant promises into actual reality. And it is exactly the same with any kind of relationship. If we were to have a relationship with someone and say we want to do all of these things, but we actually never commit, we never follow through, and there's never any action, what does it mean? Would the other person stay around? Would we ever make any advancement in that kind of relationship? And so it is so much more the same with Krishna. Our commitment to the process, our little bits of discipline make all the difference. And they change our mere promises and hopes and ideas into reality.
I just wanted to mention quickly, in the Hebrew scriptures and in the Christian Greek scriptures, there's a saying. I'm sorry, the Christian Greek scriptures, disciple, the word disciple, the word disciple. Please, Adi Parusha, help me with this one. But I believe it means to be like Christ. It's an action. And the name of Krishna is an action. And yesterday I was thinking, or made a comment about actions speak louder than words. When we make a commitment, we're taking action. We're not saying it. And Krishna sees our heart. He sees our intentions. So even if our intentions come out and we get judged, say we get judged, because it happens a lot. We get judged by another devotee. It doesn't mean that Krishna's saying no to our intentions. He knows what we intended to do by our actions. So we shouldn't feel bad because another devotee is saying, no, what you're doing is not good. We know that from our intentions we meant. Krishna knows our heart. So I just wanted to say that because a lot of times I wind up doing things and it looks like I get judged. What? And I said, well, I didn't, that wasn't my intentions. My intention was blah, 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 and I say. And then when I heard the class yesterday, I was like, wow, Krishna hears the heart. He knows the truest, deepest intentions of us. I just thought I'd just mention that actions speak louder than words. Haribol, Hare Krishna.
Good question, William. But discipline, disciple means discipline. Guru says, do this, don't do that. Of course, different people may receive different instructions, and different people who are serving as spiritual master might emphasize different things. So it's not one size fits all in terms of like what the actual instruction is, but to follow the instruction of a particular spiritual master. I had very long hair. I just put this up yesterday and they asked me, I said, I have very long hair when I came, and then Prabhupada asked me to shave my head. So I did, because that's what he asked me to do. Maybe another person may ask somebody else to do something else. There's no, it's not one size fits all, but it is one size fits all in the sense of like, what does Guru ask you to do? That's a very, not high priority and instruction, but it's just one we can use as an example. All glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Acyuta Gopi. Thank you for this class. Can I be heard? Thank you. We hear this phrase, king of our domain, when we talk about, modern times. But in this story of Indira Ekadashi, talk about the 7 limbs of a king's domain. And I guess my question is, to what extent do we take that metaphorically to understand, you know, obviously we can understand our own health of ourself, but the the concepts of the ministers, those who do our bidding, the treasury, our funds, our military force, our defense, our allies, those who agree with us, or the brahmanas, we know what that is. The sacrifices performed, we also know, and the needs of our subjects, or those who depend on us. How do we take that in application? As I noticed that much of the Bhagavatam and the related texts are instructions for kings, and I'm not. So I assume it's to be taken metaphorically for me, but I don't want to necessarily make that assumption.
Well, the wonderful thing about Bhagavatam is that Narada Muni also goes and speaks to kings about other kings allegorically, kings who rule a city of 9 gates. And we're all in possession of a city of 9 gates. And we have ministers who are like the senses, and they are advising us at any given moment. And we have a chief minister, which is the mind, which is advising us even when we don't want it. And so we can wonder, are the senses doing okay? What is this city of the body doing? Are we paying attention to it at all? Are we wondering, okay, where did the mind go? And I was listening to a lecture, and Burijan Prabhu was giving this lecture, and there was something that happened, and he had to wait for the next part of a slide or something to happen. And in the middle, he says, "Where did your mind just go? Do we ever stop to think about it while we're waiting, while we're doing something else, while we're waiting for the next presentation to go? Where did your mind just go? Are we thinking about that? Are we watching what we are focusing on? Are we watching what we are ingesting?" And so, yes, we can take that quite seriously in our everyday lives. How are the citizens of our body doing? What are the consequences of what we've been ingesting, of who we've been allowing entrance into the kingdom? What are we allowing into our lives every day through sight, through sound, through touch, through smell? All of these gateways are accepting different stimuli. But what is that? What is that stimuli? How is it affecting us? Is it affecting us in a positive or negative way? And then can we take that good advice that we've gotten and then make changes to our day? Do we care about this kingdom? Do we care about it at all? Do we care about what the subjects are suffering? Do we care about our effect on other people? So yeah, I think it's something that we can definitely meditate on and ruminate on every day. And I think it's something that we should take stock of every day. How is our mind? Is our service being increased? Jai Shri Radha Murlidhar ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. That was an excellent answer. I appreciate you.
Shri Radha Murida Gaura Chanchan Sri Bhagavan ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki
Hi. Welcome to the Afterglow, dear devotees. Acyuta Gopi, I have a few minutes. Stay with us over time a little bit.
I have exactly 5 minutes because after
Okay.
these 5 minutes, I have to go take a breathing treatment because I'm having severe asthma.
Okay. Please, devotees, send your healing vibes Acyuta Gopi's way.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
Okay, any questions? Let's take one. Acyuta Gopi, is it true that Srila Prabhupada once said that not following Ekadashi is like killing your spiritual master? Okay.
I hadn't heard that quote, but that quote makes me so happy. No.
I'll look that up. Somebody told me. I was sharing how I
hadn't
broke
heard
the
that quote,
Ekadashi.
but I mean, I feel like following Ekadashi for the pleasure of Shri Krishna is such kind of a simple thing. It's a really, really simple ask that Krishna is making. It doesn't require a lot of money. Actually, it requires less money than usual because we could eat less. It doesn't require us to do anything incredible. Here, Krishna's giving us all the facility to give us what we're asking for. Every day we're begging, just make my life better somehow or other. And Krishna is saying, okay, no problem. I'll give you all facility. I will make your life better, I promise. And then we fight with him the whole way. Oh, but why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to? Our minds are so bent on not surrendering. And somehow or other, they found it, Srila Jiva Goswami. And that's even more heavy. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked his mother only this: if you have any love for me, if you care for me at all, just follow Ekadashi. If you care for me at all as a child, and I think to myself often, do I care about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Well, of course. Then this is such a small ask. And it changed from when I was growing up to, wow, look at all the benefit, It was like playing a video game and you get all the bonus coins. And then at a certain point it changed to, oh, this is for my Lord's pleasure. Somehow or other, this makes Krishna feel happy. Oh, huh. And then looking at all of the great association that we get, Maharaj Ambarish was a lover of following Ekadashi. There was a Maharaj Rukmangada. He was a great lover of following Ekadashi, so much that he became famous for following Ekadashi, and it struck fear in the heart of Yamaraj. It made Yamaraj concerned about his job. That Maharaj Rukmangada was following Ekadashi so much that he would make everyone, including the animals in his entire kingdom, follow Ekadashi. He went around with a drum days before, proclaiming it far and wide that Ekadashi is coming, and he would not even let the shadow of a grain enter his kingdom on that day. And Yamaraj was struck with fear because he's thinking, what is going to happen to my service? Everyone is being freed from all of their sins en masse what do I do about my service? He goes to the Supreme Lord and says, Lord, what am I supposed to do about my service? And the Lord says, you just continue. Let him do what he's doing, but you continue. Don't worry, there will be no dearth of service for you. But this is the glory of Ekadashi. It brings untold merit, not just for us, but for forefathers. We can look at the example of Prahlad Maharaj praying for his own father. And we think, oh wow, how do you get to become a good devotee like that? Indira Ekadashi is there. And whether we know it or not, it's giving such countless blessings. Ekadashi Devi is so merciful, so compassionate. That's my
Wow.
pitch.
Thank you.
I have one
Thank you.
sheet.
Thank you,
Before-
Acyuta Gopi. Thank you.
Before you go, Mataji, I just want to say something really quickly.
Jeez.
I was asking Krishna, hey, listen, I don't want to shave my head. Is that okay? He's like, and I can just imagine him saying, "You're not this body." So and then I was like, but I really love my hair, and I can just imagine him saying, "Surrender." I'm like, but please, is there anything? He said, and I can just imagine him saying, "Go to the ashram." Like simple words. So I'm at the Sri Radha Govinda temple, right? This is a little funny. So I speak to the brahmanas and I said to them, they said, oh wow, you're back. Because they for 20 years I've been going, right? 20 years. And now for this past year I've been really getting serious with my japa. So they said, oh wow, you really are committed. I said, yeah, I think I've surrendered. I think I've really surrendered. They said, okay, well then join the ashram here. I'm like, oh, I gotta shave my head. I said, okay, but I have children. Then one of the brahmanas said, ah, you have children. Are you raising them in Krishna consciousness? I said, yes. He says, so continue. Try your best. Try your best. But now I'm thinking, I'm going to talk to my mother, see if my mother could take care of my children while I join the ashram. I'm going to ask Krishna. I'm going to put it in prayer. I'm not saying it's going to join it right away, but I'm going to put it in prayer and see if my mother could take care of the children while I go to Krishna's ashram.
Thank you, William Prabhu.
Your mom gonna raise
Yeah.
them.
Let's remember that Prabhupada asked George Harrison not to shave up. You know, the principle is to ask the guru what he wants you to do. If he asks you to do that, do that. If he asks you not to do that, don't do that. It's not just one size fits all, but we all want to have somebody who we're taking shelter of and who we're doing pleasing by asking him how he wants us to do it, particularly in our case.
I am the product of parents who stuck by their children. So I am in favor of you sticking by the children and raising them Krishna consciously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just saying, just from a kid whose parents stuck by them and raised them Krishna consciously, and who is currently trying to stick by my kid and raise her Krishna consciously, I am all in favor of you making your home as much of an ashram as you can, and simply sticking by the kids.
Very good.
Ashram is where people surrender to Krishna, take shelter of Krishna. That's ashram. You can do that right where you are.
You can cut your hair at home. Look at me.
Yeah. Karen is smiling. Karen, don't send them away. Don't send Isaiah away. By the way, Isaiah, are you ready?
Karen already knows how dear her kids are to me.
Yeah. Okay, Karen, unmute yourself and let's do it.
Oh. Sorry, my echo.
Go for it, Isaiah. Okay, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Acyuta Gopi. Thank you so much. Ekadashi Devi Ki Jai. Taking Ekadashi seriously, Ki Jai. Doing Ekadashi for the pleasure of the Lord, Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Happily.
Yeah.
Our devotional service should be joyfully performed. Let's somehow find some joy.
Yeah. Everybody looks joyful on this call. Haripusha Prabhu.
We look
A
like the
little
Brady.
smile.
We look like the
Show
Brady
your
Bunch,
teeth.
a family of the Brady Bunch. Everyone, look at each other. Just
Yeah, the Brady Bunch. Yeah.
that way.
Okay. Hare Krishna.